This is video 19, 28 video series. This detail on a 2019 Mini Cooper Clubman. And in this video, we'll look at applying a ceramic coating. In this case, CARPRO C Quartz UK 3.0. As you can see, starting right out on the roof of the car. And compared to a lot of coatings I've used today, it's one of the more easier ones to apply. You've got quite a bit of time to wipe off. This video is done in July, so the heat and humidity is fairly high in here in Japan. And even at high temperatures and humidity, it's still quite easy to work with. Method, if you have a look, you'll see at first I spread on the panel in a zigzag kind of pattern, and after that basically I pull the coating with the application block from that zigzag pattern to spread it out in a back and forth pattern. And for leveling and wipe off, you'll see I'm using a very short pile microfiber, 2 in fact. For each layer I recommend 4 towels for wiping off. And my personal preference is the short pile microfiber. The longer the pile, I think the more trouble you'll have at perfectly leveling the coating. With UK, you really don't have to wait for it to flash. You can wipe it off immediately. In this video you can see I'm using the short. Basically I'm just leveling the coating here. Once you level it like that the first time, you really notice it starts to flash faster. So once it's set, microfiber to wipe off the excess, making sure there's no high spots. And when I'm wiping off at this point, basically I'm kind of looking at the wall. I'm looking at the light that's projected on the wall, and that really indicates the high spots. Direct light is not that useful. In some cases it can be kind of blinding and hide the high spots, so reflected light or indirect light is going to be better for finding high spots. And if you get any coating on the glass, then it's not a big problem. Just wipe it off thoroughly before it dries out. See, applied the coating to the top of the trunk there, but I also had lots of time to do the underside and the sides. Then I'm using the microfiber just to kind of go over and level it, and this kind of speeds up the flashing time. And then I switched to the second microfiber to finish off wiping the excess. This is the first layer, but you can already see the paint is steadily becoming darker. There I applied it just in a zigzag pattern, and then from there I'm pulling it and spreading it out. I find this one of the fastest and best ways to get an even coat. And it's going to wash off and just basically I'm just leveling it now. Even if you miss miss a spot, when you level it a second time with that short pile microfiber, you basically level it some more, and sometimes you spread it a little bit more. So if you missed a small spot in the application, you tend to spread the coating at that time anyway. One thing to keep in mind when applying coating, you have to kind of be careful of where you're coming from in the application, not so much of where you're going, because you'll end up wiping that section again later. But the sections where you come from, you tend not to go back over, so I think it's always a good idea to wipe excessively in the direction that you coated from. And then you have less risk of leaving high spots. If within like the first hour, if you get a high spot, you can add a little more coating to the applicator and apply it to that high spot, and just gently apply the coating in that area. And usually the solvent in the coating is able to kind of free that high spot, and you should be able to wipe it off. Wiping it with the second cloth basically until the haze is gone. The cloth I'm using there is a double-sided cloth, so I'm using the short side. And time to time, I'm just flipping it over. In this case, because UK is quite easy to work with, I end up applying the whole bonnet before wiping down, and at this temperature and this humidity, absolutely no problem. As you can see right there, I'm using like a circular motion to level the coating. This is also quite effective if you're using ceramic coatings that are a bit harder to use. This leveling method is quite fast and tends to level the coating quite well. Previously, I took off the ring around the headlights, and at this point I can coat that area and later replace the ring, and that part is protected in case dirt piles up in there again. Chances are, because it's coated, more dirt will run off when you wash the car or rinse the car. Still, even at this point, I haven't wiped the coating yet. You can if you want. I find I have plenty of time, so it's not a big issue with the UK. Here I'm just going to wipe the whole bonnet just kind of lightly with 1-2 passes, and this kind of instigates the flash. Basically instigating the flash and just giving it a thorough leveling, and there you can kind of see the flashing of the coating there. Not so worried about the excess there yet. I'll get that with the second towel. Swapped out towels there. I noticed it was getting a little bit harder to pick up the excess, so I changed that to a fresh towel. Typically I think I use 2 towels on the top part of the car and 2 for the sides. When you put around emblems like that, I think it's really important to just wipe off around the edges of the emblem. Wipe around the emblems, and dirt tends to stick more to those areas where there's a high spot. Next we'll go on to the side of the Cooper. Doing the door handles here, I like to get under the door handle thoroughly. Dirt quite often builds up behind there, so I want to get the fly as well, and it's kind of easy to forget and miss kind of the wipe. Here, just gotta lock the door using my hands, and then what that does is kind of saves the coating from spreading off to the next panel. If it spreads off onto the next panel, particularly the panel that you just came from, there's a chance of high spots. When you wipe it off, sometimes you tend to spread the coating, and if you do something like this, then it tends not to spread to the next panel, and this can risk leaving high spots. conditioner in my studio. However, when I'm coating, I tend not to use it. I use it before, just sometimes to bring the humidity down or to bring it down. But during coating, I turn it off. I don't want moving air flowing over the panels. It tends to cause it to flash quicker. So, yeah, if you have moving air in the studio or coating outside, just be aware of that. So here I'm looking for high spots. You can see some coating has gone onto the fender there. But because I'm moving in that direction, that's not a big problem. I'm going to wipe that. Front and rear of the car, I think almost every case tends to take more time. Really detailed section or small sections that I want to do thoroughly without leaving any coated residue behind. So I tend to take my time a little bit more on those areas, like the down bumps here. Playing C-Coach UK 3.0. You can use that on headlights and tail lamps. I tend to prefer to use D-Lock, which is basically a wheel coating, but it's got a lot of protective properties in it, so I think it's better to use on plastics. So just the same as the other side, one panel at a time. CARPRO coatings, almost all of them I should say. And you can do them in one panel, sometimes even two, particularly in the winter, before wiping. But with UK, the design is made so you can just wipe it off immediately. Bonds instantly with the paint, so there's no need to wait to flash it. But if you could do a larger section before wiping off, the coating process seems to go a little bit faster, so sometimes it's really smooth. I believe I'm using a 30mm model in this video. Coats UK, and typically I want to use one bottle for one car. I never want to use leftover coating for the next customer's car. Every customer gets a fresh bottle, and this ensures that the quality is always good. If you have any left over, put it on your kid's bike or your own bike somewhere. Use it where your mother's car, whatever. CARPRO UK 3.0 is multi-layer coating, so I strongly recommend minimum 2 layers, no more than 3 layers. I find 2 layers, and typically this size of a car, it will use the whole bottle. And for me, if that whole bottle is on the paint, then that means there's plenty of protection on the vehicle. Here the front bumper gets quite detailed. If you need to, you can even take the applicator suede off of the block and apply it by hand. Sometimes I cut the applicator block in half and use that with a half cut suede applicator, and you can fit it in some really tight areas. These really detailed areas, they tend to take just as much time, if not more time, than the bigger, larger panels, if you want to do it thoroughly. It's really important to kind of have a look at the panel and in your mind divide it and coat it in sections. Kind of helps. If you work on the same model or make of vehicle, it tends to get easier as you coat the same model car over and over. You basically decide where to separate the sections for coating. In the next video, we'll apply Deluxe to the plastic parts on this Mini Cooper.